Hey guys, what's up? Majestic Gaming here, and today I'm going to be doing my full toy breakdown of everything Mattel, in addition to just giving my thoughts on them and my thoughts on McFarlane. So I'm just going to kind of be talking more generic just about my thoughts, since I never really got to give them. I know that this was revealed about a month ago now, but long story short, my computer broke and we haven't been able to edit videos, and that's why we haven't been posting as much lately. But I realized I never actually wanted to, or got to give my full thoughts on them besides just doing news. So I thought I would just give my thoughts, since a lot of people in the comments thought some of them looked too skinny or some of them looked good, or I just wanted to give my thoughts on them, in addition to my thoughts on McFarlane finally ending the long-running Halo action figure line and what I want to see from Mattel in the future. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with their 6-inch figures, which obviously these are their main ones. A couple things to note about them. They said that these will be the most articulated Halo figures ever. They'll have more than 30 points of articulation, as opposed to the 27 that the McFarlane ones had. So that should be pretty cool, seeing how there's more articulation than these. These will also be $20, so $5 more than the McFarlane ones. However, like with tax, most times they ended up being like 17 or 16, so not too much of a difference. Hopefully for like the quality and for $20, they'll be pretty good. Right now, we have the pictures for Series 1. I don't know if it'll be called Series 1 or Wave 1. Not really sure, but it doesn't really matter either way. But this will probably be the first series of Mattel Halo, whatever they decide to call it. And I believe by now, they're like, I think 6, 7, yeah, they're about 7, I think. 7 6-inch ones for the first series. So, like I said, should be pretty cool. I'm going to go through each one individually, and then I'll move on to the other parts. So we're going to start off with the Chief figure. The Chief figure looks pretty good. I like the red accents on it, how it's more accurate to the Halo 5 one. The articulation looks alright. I'm not a big fan of, if you look on like his left arm, you can obviously see the joints right there. I don't know how you would do that better, but obviously it looks like it'll be alright. It looks more like standard toy articulation than McFarlane again. It'll obviously be different than the McFarlane ones that we've been used to, but some of the arm joints look weird, and obviously I don't know if this is just with the pictures, but it does look a little shiny. It looks more plasticky, which is what everyone's been saying about the Mattel figures in general, but I think they do look pretty good, just the Chief one, and it comes with a pretty accurate assault rifle, and I think it's a Magnum. I can't really tell from the pictures, but I think Chief should be pretty good. I don't have too much to say about him. He just looks like what you'd expect from a Chief figure, and hopefully he should end up being pretty good. I just wish that they would maybe, like, if they could, like, cut down on the plasticky bit a little bit, but I think it looks fine. It kind of reminds me of the Sprue Kits ones, but hopefully we'll be able to get some cool posing in there. Alright, next we're going on to the Helioskrill Spartan, since this is probably one of my most anticipated ones. For this. Also, something I forgot to mention about the 6-inch ones in general. I'm kind of curious about how they said there's mix and match armor, because right now in Series 1 there's only 2 multiplayer Spartans that we know of, which are Assault and the Helioskrill. So I'm not really sure if we'll be able to combine those. I assume we will, since they announced it, or if we'll be able to combine like the Chief armor and the Linda one. That would be kind of cool, but I do want to see how that works out and how that would work out for future series. But back to the Helioskrill, this is probably the one that I think looks the best overall, like everything. Obviously, if you look at the press release pictures, the press pictures for it, it looks really good. I think the green visor on it looks awesome. I love the colors. The Needler looks a little plasticky. Then again, it's what we'd expect. If you look also in the pictures, I just wanted to say, like, the pictures that obviously they showed off, and then they had them on display at their collector's event night and a toy fair. Some of the things do look a little bit different than they didn't really show off in the pictures. So I would advise you, I'll leave links in the descriptions to YouTube videos that showed them off, because they do look a little bit different, and they do kind of give you a different view on some of them. Plus there's some stuff that wasn't even announced in the pictures, but we'll get to that in a second. But I think the Helioskrill looks awesome. I love how the feet look. It has kind of the same wrist stuff as the Chief one. I think the battle rifle on it looks good. Maybe a little bland. Hopefully get some more detail in there. And like I said, hopefully the Needler will end up being really good. But that's probably one of my most anticipated. I think that one will look really good, and it should be a really awesome figure to have on display. Alright, now we're going on to the crawler, which was not even shown in the pictures, probably because it's kind of freaky, and not great. It was first shown at Toy Fair, like I said, but not even in the pictures. First of all, that's a crawler alpha, if you don't know. And those, like, from what the pictures I looked at and from, like, playing the game, they do look to be a little more whitish, sorry, whitish silvery than the other crawlers, which are just more gray. So I, like, thought the colors were okay at first, and then, like, looking at it some more, just on, like, the pictures that people took there, that looks way too white of a color. I don't really get why it's so off. Hopefully I just don't really know what to say about it. Hopefully, I don't really see why they did that, so it's not even close to what the color looks like. Probably won't be picking this one up, considering I'm not a big fan of crawlers anyways. I only got the McFarlane crawler from a box set that I got for Christmas that had a bunch of them, but it looks like it can stand and pose pretty good, and the McFarlane one, if you don't know, kind of has some trouble posing, but the colors, the details, the design, the paint, everything looked better on that figure than on this, so I don't really know what to say about this white, inaccurate crawler. That goes along with some of the other Mattel stuff that's just straight up inaccurate to game content, but hopefully it should end up being alright. I probably, like I said, won't pick it up, but hopefully will be pretty good. Alright, now we're moving on to one of the most anticipated, and I'd say probably one of the most popular, if not the most popular, of the first series of 6-inch figures, which is going to be Linda. Now, obviously, this is the first Linda thing we've ever gotten in Halo action figure form. Obviously, we gotten the Fred and Kelly from Halo 5 and the Legends. The package from Halo Legends. I think the colors look pretty good. That blue kind of circle on her, right on her chest, isn't even there in the game. I don't really know why that's there, if they just kind of threw that in. But she looks a little more, like, shinier than the Helioskrill. I kind of wish she had more of a, maybe rugged's not the right word, but kind of not bland paint, but just so it looked more like a Spartan instead of just kind of like how the Helioskrill one did, because I think that's a really good paint, and I'm not really sure what to say about the paint on this, but like I said, I think it looks pretty good. Nornfang looks a lot better than it did in the original pictures, which it looked different, but Nornfang's colors are gray and yellow and white, which is accurate to the game, except it's brown. So that's not a brown Nornfang. Hopefully it is brown. We just can't tell from the pictures, but from what we can tell now, that Nornfang is gray. So wrong. I'd say just hopefully get their colors right, and that's pretty much all I have to say about Linda. I think the helmet looks really good though. That's probably one of the best parts about it. If you guys don't know someone on Instagram who I follow, whose name is Halo Frontier. He made, I believe, a 3D printed Linda, but that's just shout out to him. He does really awesome stuff. He makes really awesome 3D printed stuff. I'll leave a link in the description to his Instagram page where you can go check it out. It's a really accurate, I would say, 3D printed Linda made from just McFarlane Toys. So it's really okay. Next is the Assault Spartan, which I think this is kind of one that I don't really have a huge opinion on. It's just kind of average. It's obviously got an orange visor, blue and white. Again, cool colors. I love stuff going with white. Not too much to say about it. Just a pretty generic. We've gotten air assaults before, so this isn't anything special, but just another thing. I am kind of glad that Mattel is doing this. They do have lots more variety than obviously McFarlane had towards the end, which I'll get to in a little bit, but not too much to say about it. It's pretty generic, and I should be good. I may get it, I may not. I'll just have to see what happens. But depending on how the Mattel figures are overall, I may try and collect them all. I may just get Linda and the Helioskrill and see where I go from there. But it's, pretty generic. The shoulders on some of the pictures look kind of far off, and I am happy that it comes with a Hydra and a pistol, both of which look good. Alright, next is going to be the Elite Zealot, which I think looks pretty good. It's the Red Elite Zealot. I think it looks pretty accurate to the game. It's not like a huge, kind of different thing from the game. I'm not really sure what I think about the transparent energy sword. I like the energy sword that Jewel Madama came with. In Series 3, just kind of had that cool like lightning design on it. But we've gotten ones like this too, so we've gotten both. I'm not really sure which one I like more, but I'd be good with either. But I think it looks pretty cool. Not, again, too much to say about it. I am happy that we're getting an Elite. And hopefully he is a little bit taller than the Spartans, because that would make sense, because Sangheili are ginormous. But hopefully he should look pretty cool. Obviously in Elite Zealot we've gotten him before. Not too much to say about it. It just looks cool. I like the spikes that he has kind of on his feet. And hopefully he will be an awesome figure. And hopefully, I hope you'll be able to do this. You'll be able to take the helmet off, just like you could with Jewel Madama. Yeah, you could do that. So hopefully you'll be able to do that. Now we're going to Locke, which is the last of the main 6-inch first series. I'm going to call it Halo Mattel Series 1 for now until we get some official names. Speaking of which, I constantly check Mattel's website. They have not set a release date for any of their stuff yet. They haven't even put pre-orders up, or they don't even have a Halo section yet. So I expect it to be a little while. They said they're probably releasing in like winter of 2016, so I wouldn't expect until probably around like after Halo Wars 2 has come out, so a while. But back to Locke, I think Locke looks pretty good. In the pictures we saw originally, I thought he looked alright. Some of the pictures from Toy Fair, depending on how they were taken, looked kind of weird. I think some parts of him look too gray, depending on where you see them from. I also thought that maybe he looked kind of too, not fat, but kind of too buff or bulky at some points. But again, I think that's all kind of perspective. I think that he'll be a pretty cool figure overall. Obviously, we've gotten a lot of Locke. I'm really happy that he's coming with a plasma caster, because that's a really cool, new unique weapon that we haven't gotten to see a lot of. I think that and the plasma pistol look fine. However, I do think they're weird weapon choices for Locke, considering he's a UNSC Spartan and he's getting all these exotic Covenant weapons. But I don't have a problem with it. Locke, he's pretty generic. We've seen him before, same kind of design as he's always had. I think the articulation, it looks alright. We can't really tell a lot. It looks like you'll be able to get some good posing in. I do want to be able to do some kind of heroic posing with these guys, because most of the poses they have here are just kind of having their weapons out to the side. So I want Linda to be able to hold her sniper like she does in the game, and I want to be able to make those iconic Halo poses. Same with Locke. Hopefully the articulation will let us do that. Alright, now we're getting to the Halo Ghost vehicle that comes with the Elite Officer. That's going to be $30, so I think the design of the Ghost looks good. It obviously looks pretty accurate. We've gotten a couple ghosts before, or we've only gotten one McFarlane ghost, I believe. I'm not sure about the $30 price tag. That seems kind of high. Maybe $25 I think would be good. Depending on the quality of the figure, I'm sure it won't be great, but I don't know, 30 just seems kind of high for it. The Elite looks pretty good, however, I'm not sure. I hope, my fear for this one is that it won't be able to be articulated that much, and I really don't want that. I like the carbine that he's holding, however, if you can only have it in that position, I don't want it to be like a statue. I want to be able to move it around and put his weapon in different hands, and hopefully he'll be able to do that, because it is obviously called a figure, not like a statue. I do like the flames at the bottom, however, I hope those don't get in the way of posing. And also it has like a transparent base under it that's really hard to see, because obviously it's transparent, and I do like that. I think it's like the best way they did that, where they would have been able to pose it. But I do like it. I think it looks pretty good. I'm just not sure about the $30 price tag on it. I also like the Elite Officer. Obviously purple is pretty generic Halo Elite color, so I think it should be pretty good. It should be pretty good for the figure. Now, next we're going to talk about the 12-inch figures, which pretty much from what I've seen have been the point of, like, people don't really like them, and I have to agree, they look just so cheap and, like, cheaply made and plastic, and they just don't look Halo-y. They look too much like, I guess, like, giant toys. If you guys collect Marvel, I believe, they're called, like, the Titan series. They had, like, Ultimate Spider-Man ones like that. If you don't, then you probably don't know what I'm talking about, but they're that similar kind of thing where they're, like, tall, big, plasticky figures that are cheap. And they don't look good, but they're just kind of big. So obviously these are a foot, so they're a pretty good size. Obviously double the size of the other figures, but from what we know right now, there's only 3 of them, and I didn't even know that apparently a 12-inch Locke and Chief were already released from Mattel, like, earlier this year, and from what I could tell, those were alright. But obviously in the picture they showed, they did have, I believe, a Chief, that Chief and Locke on display, but from the pictures they showed when they were announcing their partnership, they showed Buck, which looks really deformed, and I really hope these pictures are just bad, because I can't imagine anyone that's like a fan of Halo collecting buying these, because these look so messed up. There's Chief, like the way they've got him turn, he looks just all skinny and weird and messed up, and for $10, I mean, that's what you'd expect. I want to see the new ones on display, see if they've improved at all. I think the paint looks, again, what you'd expect. Just not much to say about it. I really hope they're better than, like, I think they are right now, and they better be cool, because I don't want them to have, like, pretty cool 6-inch ones, and then have, like, the next scale up if people want, like, more bigger figures, and then they're just stuck with their 6-inch ones, and they have these ugly 10-inch ones. But now we're going to talk about the BoomCo stuff, because even though BoomCo, I haven't bought any of them so far, I do like them. I like the concept of them. Like, they're pretty much Nerf guns, but if you guys saw on the channel, I posted in the newest live stream from the Halo 5 updates, the Hammerstorm one, they had a section where they showed off a bunch of toy stuff. You can check that out on the channel. But they showed off the BoomCo assault rifle, which is a lot cooler than I thought it would be. I really like the design of it. I like how I like the red, and it can shoot like really fast. It's $50, I believe, so that's pretty like expensive. Not expensive, but it's what you'd expect. And I hope that they show off more from it in the future. I do like it. I think it's really cool, and I don't know if I'm gonna buy it, but I wouldn't be surprised if I do end up buying it. So again, check out that if you want to see it in action. Check out the video that I posted on the channel, and look for it in there. Also, what I'm really excited about is we're getting a Spiker finally, which we haven't had a BoomCo Spiker, and a Spiker's, in my opinion, a forgotten Halo weapon. We haven't had it since Reach. It's a really cool brute weapon. I really love the design of the BoomCo one. It's staying pretty authentic to the game, but also looks BoomCo, like it looks like a toy, which for these are okay because they're fake guns. But it's cool finally getting to have that, and I think people will buy this just because it's a Spiker that we haven't seen for 6 years, and it's a really cool weapon. But I'll wait and see maybe if I want to buy these. Also cool is the energy sword that we're getting. Now I saw this on display also, or I saw this in action also in the stream. Like I said, if you want to check that out, and I thought it was pretty cool. I believe this one's 50 or 60. I do like it. I think it's cool. I just don't know if, I mean, I don't really know what I'd use it for. I guess obviously it's more for like display purposes and cosplay and that kind of stuff, but it is cool. It's motion activated. It makes all the sounds, and it's really cool. I do like it. If you're a fan of energy swords, you'll probably want to get this. Maybe like put it up on your wall or something, or just play around with it and see what you get into. So BoomCo, I think it looks pretty good. Obviously Mattel is also making RC cars. I don't have too much to say about this. I may get 1 or 2 of them. The one I like the most, just because I'll be able to like put them up on display and even drive them around, because everyone loves remote control cars. They're pretty fun, and they're just a couple of them. We're getting an Oni anti-air tank type thing, which is not a tank but a Warthog, and I think it looks pretty good. It's got the obviously the anti-air cannon. Like I said, it's really cool getting to have a Warzone vehicle as a figure, and we also get a little Master Chief with it, so that's cool. We also get a red Warthog. Not too much to say, just a generic red Warthog with, if that's supposed to be Master Chief in it, I don't know, because that is just like a green Spartan that does not look like Master Chief. We're also getting this Halo Wars 2 vehicle that looks like the Tumbler from Batman, The Dark Knight, so I don't really know what to say about it. They'll probably, apparently this is from Halo Wars 2, so they'll probably show something off from it in the future, but right now I have no idea what it is. We're also getting this really plasticky toy-looking 12-inch Master Chief RC car. No, it's not an RC car, my bad. It's not an RC car, it's just a figure, and from what I've seen, Master Chief can go inside of it, and from what I could guess, in the turret. So it's the 12-inch Master Chief, and this looks more like the one that was already released. So again, tell me in the comments if you've bought the Mattel ones that have already been released, and if which one of these you're looking forward to the most. And that's it for all the new Mattel stuff. I think Mattel would do a pretty good job. I'm not really sure what to say about them in general. I hope they do a good job with Halo. I don't want them to not make, obviously, quality figures, but it will be good because since Mattel is such a big company, then Halo will probably, like, if you remember, like, years ago when Halo action figures had their own, like, section in Toys R Us and Target, and it was awesome, and it was just, like, deluxe stuff and like armor sets and deluxe vehicles and box sets and exclusives, and it was great, and that slowly started going downhill. But hopefully we'll be able to get that again with those huge sections of Mattel figures, Mattel Halo figures. I also, in addition to talking about Mattel, I wanted to give my thoughts on McFarlane Toys as a whole, their Halo toys, and my thoughts on them on their line being dead. So these are the figures that I love. McFarlane, I've come to love, like, their company. I love the McFarlane Toys. Todd McFarlane's awesome. Spider-Man, if you guys don't know, he's my favorite superhero ever, and Todd McFarlane's design is one of my favorites, so I love that design. And I've been keeping up with these figures. These are ones I've been collecting for about 6 years, and they're awesome, and they had a pretty good amount of detail. And obviously, if you guys didn't see, this year at Toy Fair, McFarlane showed off their new thing they're calling the Red Cap collection, I believe. It's basically a new line that they're all starting, 7-inch figures. And if you guys haven't been keeping up with McFarlane news, they're basically starting a bunch of new stuff. They've got Gears of War, Titanfall, Five Nights at Freddy's, Assassin's Creed stuff, new Assassin's Creed movie stuff, Walking Dead comics, Walking Dead TV. So they're just keep going on. But sadly, they're leaving Halo behind. But that's okay because now Halo can go on to new people who can produce more of them and can have more shelf space. But I know before the McFarlane Toys, there was Joyride, which I never got into those. I did see one at a Comic-Con I went to 2 years ago. They had a Joyride one, but it was $50. But I never really got into those. I may, depending on how long I keep collecting these, I may see if I can get a couple of those. But if you go back to the Halo 3 line, they had tons of exclusives, deluxe figures, and just tons of figures. They had so many, and it was really cool. Even with Reach, which is when I started collecting the figures, there were 7 waves of Reach, I believe, plus deluxe box sets. They had that Target exclusive set that had all 6 of them. I'm trying to think, they had the team objectives, they had the infection box, they had everything, and they also had a Noble 6 Exodus with Noble 6 with the jetpack and a mongoose from the mission in the game. They had so many awesome things. They even got to the point where they made unhelmeted of all the people in Noble Team except for Emil and 6. But that was really cool. Then after those figures, which I was blown away by, and those were really cool. Another thing, I know this isn't McFarlane, but the Halo Reach statue, which I have, that I really love, that's awesome. I wish they would have done something like that for Halo 5. I would have paid $200 for it, because it would have been awesome having both teams. I also loved their Halo Anniversary line they had, which had, I believe it was Mickey, they had Cortana, Arbiter, Chief, Keys, and I think there were a couple more. Oh, Guilty Spark. And that was a really cool line that I loved. I have a couple of those. They also did the thing that a lot of the Marvel Legends figures do, where they had they gave you a piece and then you got to build it at the very end. It was the legendary campaign symbol. That was really cool. It gave you more of a motive to collect them, and that was really cool. I remember buying those. And then they started slowly going downhill with them. The Halo 4 figures that came out, there were some deluxe sets like the Cryotube, which I really like, and some sets with lots of figures. There were, I believe, 2 deluxe box sets, one of which I bought, and that's how I got all the figures. But they had that deluxe Knight, which was cool. They had the deluxe Didact, which was awesome. And I liked Series 2 of Halo 4. There wasn't too much of it. It was kind of, a couple of them were repeats. They had that new Chief with the Micro Ops Cortana. But there was going to be a Lasky in Series 2, a really long time ago, whenever those were first. I guess that was only 3 years ago. But I would have really liked a Lasky, and sadly we're never gonna get one. Probably we're never gonna get a McFarlane style one, ever. So I would have really liked that. That would have been awesome. And after Series 2, again, we started slowing down and we got less figures. They finally announced Series 3 at one point, which was the first action figure video I did on this channel, which they showed off. They had that Spartan Soldier Walgreens exclusive, which I still don't have. They had Jewel Madama, Palmer, and Thorn. So that was cool. I remember buying those, going to GameStop and buying all three of them the day they came out. And for a while there wasn't even a mention of figures after that, and then we got those two completely random Halo figures in 2014, the Halo 2 Anniversary one, which made sense obviously, and the Cloaked Master Chief. The Cloaked Master Chief was, I don't know what to say about that, that was freaky. The cloak was all stiff and hard, and it was all weird. And, but the Halo 2 Anniversary one is still one of my favorite McFarlane figures. I love it. And then Halo 5 Series 1 was cool, however there were no deluxe sets or deluxe box sets or anything. It was cool getting to see those classic Halo characters made into action figures though, except for ones that we hadn't seen in the package. And then Series 2 ending McFarlane's long-running line of Halo after such a long time. It's really sad to see these figures that I know tons of people have been collecting. They probably have shelves and shelves, or even boxes full, and I know people do, of just figures of McFarlane, so it's really disappointing, but Series 2 should be really popular figures, so I have seen really recently that they've been going at more stores, so if you want to get these, I would recommend and go out and get them. Buck's probably going to be the most popular figure, so go out and try and get that Buck figure if you really want to. And also, something I know some confusion was is McFarlane still making them? Why does McFarlane make them anymore? So what happened was McFarlane's license for Halo ran out, because obviously McFarlane had the license, and 343 just didn't want to renew the license, and so then that gave Mattel the master license instead. So it wasn't really McFarlane's choice. They're not man, we want to focus on Five Nights at Freddy's instead of Halo, but it was more just the license ran out, 343 didn't want to renew it, so they gave it to Mattel, which, like I said, there are pros and cons to both. But I am really excited to see what Mattel does, and I am really sad that these Series 2 are coming to an end, so go out and buy the last line. I'm probably going to buy 6 or 5 figures. I'm probably going to buy all 4 of them the first time, and then buy a 5th Buck to stay in the box. But I'm really excited for this, and I'm really excited for Mattel, and hopefully if you guys want to see more videos on Mattel figures in general, I know this was a really long video, longer than most of our videos, but I just wanted to give my full thoughts since I never was able to on the Mattel figures. And if you guys enjoyed this video, like it, leave a comment on what you think is going to be the best Mattel thing that they're coming out with, your thoughts on them in general, and what your thoughts are on the McFarlane Halo line ending. Alright guys, thanks for watching Majestic Gaming.